Tuesday, the 6th of January. I want to talk again about stories. Stories that we're in, stories by which we define ourselves because we believe. We believe that is what we are and that is what we're in. And I want to talk about that Gnosticism was completely and utterly wrong. They were wrong. The whole story is wrong. We are in the wrong story. Again, if you look at the story of Gnosticism, which came out of Gnosis, knowledge from within, or going on a drug-induced trip is what many of them did. But it's still knowledge from within. That means what they saw was themselves. It was knowledge of self, knowledge of themselves. And the fall of Sophia, what they describe as the fall of Sophia into the material world, that was their belief. I mean, and the fall of wisdom, and here's wisdom. Sophia is wisdom. The fall of wisdom was their own fall. That is what they saw. They saw their own fall from wisdom. Now in the story, again, Yaldabaoth, that thought of the one creator God, the false creator God, came out of wisdom. Gnosticism itself came out of the Hermetics, out of the various Hermetic mystery schools. They all went different paths with the knowledge, And so the Gnosticism, it did go one specific path. And that path led them to this thought of the one creator God. And that is false. If we go back, and let me first say, and out of this thought of what everybody is running around now, saying, well, there is a false creator God. Gnostics say there was a false creator God. So who is the real creator God? Yeah? And here we come into wars. Because somebody says, my God is the right one, and the other one says that my God is the right one, and there can be only one. What was false from the start about this one creator God is that he even exists. That one creator God exists. That is what was false. There is not just one. That was the falsehood of it all to start with, which created darkness in this world. And it was the fall of wisdom into ignorance. And it created a destructive world. That was the falsehood that they saw within themselves. The belief that there is only one. And it doesn't matter which one you claim is the one. It's false. There is not just one. There isn't. Now, and there is nothing to substantiate their claims. There is no evidence. There is no evidence of that one almighty being that is sitting somewhere pulling all the strings. Yeah, it is an idiotic thought to start with, but there is no evidence. So we go back to the Hermetic way, back to wisdom, back to evidence-based reasoning. Yeah, not just plugging things out of the air whilst we're on mushrooms, but going by the evidence that is in this world, because that was the Hermetic way. Let's go back to that. Let's return to reason and to some sort of wisdom. First of all, this claim of the Gnostics, that the archons, that the demiurge created archons and then created the Adam, men. There is no evidence in this world that we were put together in some Frankenstein fashion. You know, one brought the arms, another one brought the legs, and then what? They put us into their laboratory and zapped us into life or something. There's no evidence for that story in this world. There is evidence of the way nature always does things, that there were several species of hominoid, is that what you call that? Prehistoric man, before modern man. There's evidence of that, and that would be evidence of evolution and of nature as it is in this world. It perfectly goes with everything else. So there's evidence of that. There's also evidence of in us, in modern man, there's evidence of a genetic intervention. Yeah, there are two chromosomes in us that don't make sense, that should not have evolved in that way in a natural fashion. And apparently, from what I've heard, those chromosomes gave us the ability for speech and a greater brain capacity, so the greater ability to think and to reason. There's evidence for that. But even if that happened, which I find likely, but if that happened, does not mean they created us from scratch. Yeah, and that is not they created man. No, they did not. Man was created by this world until a point. And most our bodies and everything as we are is still according to this world, plus that intervention that happened. That is the evidence that is in this world. That is solid evidence in this world. Why is everybody running around believing some fantastic story out there that they cannot prove, and there's no evidence for that in this world? Go back to the Hermetic way. Yeah? Reason based on evidence, scientific. Not running around in fairy tales and proclaiming them to be truth. The next thing, again, they claimed again, and here we come to the one creator God, the one that created everything, yeah, from scratch. Again, there's no evidence in nature. There's evidence of evolution. Plenty of evidence for evolution. But nothing that says God took a sheep and just put it there. And here is again what we see in nature, the Hermetic way, saying what we see in nature is the truth. There is an underlying truth. There is something out of which everything is created, but what we see is truth. So go back to the Hermetic way. Get out of this Gnostic, idiotic story. That is a mushroom fantasy. Right. You say there is an underlying thing, a field out of which everything is created, by which everything is created. And you go by the Hermetic knowledge of everything is in the all is in the all, we are all in the all, and the all is in everything. So everything is in the all, and the all is in everything. The kingdom is within you, it is all around you. That was the Hermetic thinking. Everything is consciousness. The universe is mental. It's built on consciousness. And you look around you, open your eyes again, stop taking drugs to get some kind of enlightenment. Look around you what is actually there. And you will see what is creating this world. It is the interplay of the mineral, the vegetative, the animal, and man. Our influence on this whole thing being totally destructive at the moment, yes, but we're still having an effect on everything else. Bad one at the moment. What you see is that this world is created by everything that has its being in it. It is the interplay of all that is creating this world, and probably always has done. It was not done by one, but by all. It is the all that creates, and the all is in all. And all create. And that is what has created this world and is creating this world. The interplay of all consciousness that is the all. There is not one. But it was the thought of the one creator God that plunged humanity into darkness, into ignorance. And that ignorant beast went and destroyed all other knowledge. Went on a complete rampage on the destruction of knowledge, so it would be the only one left standing. And therefore I am all. Anybody who goes around saying there is one false creator God is perpetuating a falsehood, is perpetuating the darkness. And as I said before, and I say it again now, this idea that is going around now of the simulation theory of the artificial matrix, yeah? It is just the old thought for a new age, yeah? It's not archons that are putting a Frankenstein monster together. It is now some architect in the matrix that is creating everything. It's still the one creator God. You're still staying in the old Gnostic story of the one that is creating everything. So the darkness is taking on a new form, but it's still darkness. It's still a lie. We must get out of that story and go back to evidence-based reality. Yeah? As I say, there's nothing there that would substantiate those stories. The only thing I can see that can be shown as true is the fall of wisdom into a material world, into material thinking. Again, that is us. We are falling into material thinking. We are falling into a thought that we are in a material prison. Again, it is not evidence-based. If spiritual things exist, like telepathy, like remote viewing, like energy healing, then that is evidence that we are not imprisoned. Evidence-based says we are not imprisoned. Yeah, we are solid and we are the other. We are both. And we can freely both be other if we know how to. That is evidence-based. The story of total imprisonment is not here. Where is it? Apart from those that have, okay, it is here now, but in those that think they are imprisoned, that believe on that idiotic story, that for whom that story creates a reality, their reality, and then they are imprisoned, but they are imprisoned in that story. And it is not according to reality around them. They are living in the bubble of the story. They are in death while life is all around them. And apparently the light of all does not enter into the bubble. It is time that bubble burst. That bubble must burst. We must get out of that story and go back to evidence-based belief. Then knowing, evidence-based knowing. That was the Hermetic way. That was true science. That was true knowledge of ourselves on several levels. So that was a great knowledge of ourselves. And we must get out of the Gnostic story. And not getting out of the Gnostic story by saying there's one false creator God. Where's the real one? Where's the real one creator God? That's not getting out of the story. The falsehood was from the beginning that there is only one. The all is all. Everything is in the all, and the all is in everything. And what is created by all. And that is the truth. That is what we can see. That is the truth they're trying to get us out of all the time. But, and really the last big attempt is this world is not real. You are not real. Nothing is real. Don't look around you. It's not there. I mean, that is total, that on their part that must be total desperation, because that is complete denial of everything that we must go into, and complete denial of evidence to believe something that is out there floating around without any roots, totally unsubstantiated. We must believe that. I mean, I say it is desperation on their part, but it is really amazing because quite a few people will actually do that. They will actually go that far into belief. Yeah? Can we please come back to earth? All of us. Can we come back to earth? We are amazing creatures. This is an amazing world. There's evidence and there's ways by which we can work this. Can we please come back to the truth and get out of the Gnostic lie? The Gnostic lie itself is the fall from wisdom. Can we return to wisdom? As I said, this battle between the thinking of the all, the thinking of all, and the thinking of the one creator God, that battle has been going on throughout history since it first appeared. Christianity went on the rampage into others that had different beliefs that were, again, nature-based maybe, and they destroyed those beliefs. It's been going on all the time. That darkness spread, conquered this world. Again, that is an evidence-based interpretation. There is history there that actually happened. You don't have to be on mushrooms to see it. It's there, right in front of your eyes. We must get out of the Gnostic story, and we must not allow them to carry that Gnostic story on again into a technological age by creating an architect that created a matrix. It's just the whole thing over and over again. We go back to the age of enlightenment and truth. And whatever we say is, we must produce evidence. And until we can produce evidence, we cannot say it is truth. We must go back to that. Anyway, folks, I leave it at that for today. Really get out of the Gnostic story. For most of it, there is no evidence. The only evidence there is in this world is clearly seen is the fall from wisdom and the creation of the story of the false creator God that led into darkness. Forget about the rest. That's the only grain of truth in it. So get out of it. I leave with that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.